welcome. My name's Jen, and today we are going to be pressure canning pumpkin. Pumpkin is one of those things that I love to grow in the garden. I have to choose a variety that is really good for this process, actually. There's lots of different types of varieties of pumpkin, but today we are going to be choosing a variety that is going to be good for storage. It's going to be good for pumpkin soups and for pies. It's really a great all-purpose pumpkin. The thing about pumpkins, I can store them for a good long time, like right now it is January, but I find that by February they start kind of going downhill and then eventually they end up in a pile of mush, and we don't want that. We want to be able to preserve these for a year, 2 years even sometimes with these things. And so follow along today as I pressure can pumpkin and see how you can do it too.
So you can see here a variety that I've chosen to grow this summer, and it's actually a sugar pumpkin from West Coast Seeds. You could also choose a variety like a baby Pam pumpkin. These are great options for cooking pumpkins. They do make great soups as well as pies. So you're going to want to go ahead and take out all the insides of the pumpkin. You can probably use those seeds to roast later. You're going to want to take the rind off the pumpkin and cut the pumpkin up into cubes. When we can pumpkin, we actually can't can pumpkin as a mash like you would get in a store. It actually has to be in cubes. This is probably the most time-consuming part of all of the canning of pumpkin, is just going through and cleaning these all up. You're going to want to discard any pieces that are rotten. I find this tool works really great for canning, even though it's for carving pumpkins. You're going to need some basic tools for canning: some lids, some rings, some jars. You're also going to want a ladle as well as a funnel to get all of your pumpkin into jars once you're done. You're going to go ahead and wash your jars in the sink, and then what you're going to do is heat up your oven to 225, and you're going to put all those jars on a tray and heat them up in the oven for about 15 minutes. While you're doing that, you're going to go ahead and put your pumpkin into a pot. Now you can see here my pot was probably a little bit too small, and you're going to fill that up with water all the way above the pumpkin. And what you're going to go ahead and do then is you're going to put it on the stove, and you are going to want to boil it for about 2 minutes once it's reached boil. Then you're going to get out this beast of a canner. You don't necessarily need to use a big canner like this. This is what I actually have. It's the All-American canner, but you do need a pressure canner in order to can pumpkin. You're going to go ahead and put your bottom rack in there, and you're going to want to fill this up, if you've got a pressure canner like this, with about 3 inches of water. So I always go ahead and put a little bit of Vaseline on the outside rim of my canning lid, and I also put some on the inside of my canner as well. And this just makes it so that it's easy to come on and off, especially once you've created that pressure in this canner. It's a really important step to do. You don't necessarily have to do it every single time, but at least every 2 or 3 times that you can. So after your water and your pumpkin is boiled for about 2 minutes and your jars are warm, you're going to go ahead and start filling the jars. And you're going to want to leave about a 1-inch headspace on the top of your jars. You can measure that with one of the little tools that I had there before. And you're going to want to just go ahead and fill up all your jars. The next step is really important. You're going to want to go ahead and wipe down all the rims of all your jars with a rag and some vinegar. And this is just going to prevent any bacteria from being sealed in that can and creating a problem with your canning. One step I forgot to mention is I usually heat up my lids and my rings in a pot of water, not to boiling, but once they're all heated up, you're going to go ahead and put those right on top of your jars. You're going to just hand tighten them, not too tight. And then go ahead and put them right into your canner. Once you have all of your jars in your canner, you're going to want to place your lid on the canner, and you're going to line it up. And then what you're going to notice is all of these tabs all the way around. You're going to want to make sure that the separation space is the same all the way around the canner. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab on 2 of the tabs and you're going to twist each of them together all the way around the canner. Once you have gone all the way around once, then you're going to go around again a second time and tighten them really tight. And go ahead and heat up that water. So at this point, we're not going to put the weight onto our vent pipe. We're actually going to leave it off for right now. And what you're going to notice here up at the top of the canner is that the vent pipe is actually going to start steaming. And what we're actually looking for is a steady stream of steam to start coming out of this vent pipe. and the pressure at this point is going to be still at 0. But what you're going to notice is that once it starts steaming at a steady steam, we're going to want to put our timer on, and we're going to want to time it for 10 minutes. So you need 10 full minutes of that steam coming out of the top of the vent pipe. So your regulator weight is set up in 5, 10, and 15 pound increments, and every recipe is going to be different, but most of it is set up based on your altitude above sea level. For this particular recipe, I need to use 15 pounds, but yours may be different. So once your vent has vented for 10 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and put that weight right on top, being careful not to burn yourself. You'll notice that the pressure will start to rise, and when it hits that 15 pounds that I need for this particular recipe, you'll notice that the weight jiggles back and forth, and it gets pretty annoying at this point. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 90 minutes because that's what's required for this particular recipe for quarts. If you were doing pints, it would only be 55 minutes. It's going to wobble back and forth, and you're going to want to listen for it to wobble about 4 times every 1 minute, and if it's more than that, you're actually going to want to turn the temperature down a little bit. Once you've hit that 90 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and turn the pot right off and let it cool down. At this point, you're going to notice that the pressure is still really high. And once the pressure has gone down and hit 0, then it's actually going to be safe to remove the weight. You'll hear it steam a little bit, and you're going to want to wait another 10 minutes probably. And at that point, you can actually open up your canner. It's safe to do so. When you're going to want to open up your canner, you're actually going to want to tip the lid away from you. It's really important so that you don't burn yourself. And there you have it, you've canned your pumpkin. You're going to want to take it out of the canner at this point and put it on the counter where it's going to sit for 24 hours, and you're not going to touch it. You might hear those lids pinging, but don't touch it at all. Wait the full 24 hours. After the 24 hours, you can actually remove the ring from the jar and check the seal on the lids. You can even pick up the jar by the lid, and because it's so sealed, it won't separate itself. Thanks for joining me today as we can pumpkin. If you'd like to watch more videos on canning, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the like bell as well. And then every time I make new videos, you'll be notified. I really appreciate you guys' support. Hope to see you soon. Bye.